Hi there, this is Tyler, and I am here playing with some friends from the Gauntlet, which if you watch, I play with the Gauntlet folks quite a bit because they're the best. And I have the creme de la creme of the best right here playing with me today. Folks, if you like role-playing and you like the opportunity to maybe play more or get a chance to play online, go find the Gauntlet. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on G+. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com. Best folks you'll ever get a chance to play with. I can promise you that. And we are playing SWvM versus Moonicorn, which is by Johnstone Metzger. And it is a fantastic space opera, grand, epic sort of story. And he does something really cool with it. It has not only its normal kind of campaign style play, but he did a quick start for it so that you can get a lot of the feel of the game in a much shorter set of sessions. And I think that's brilliant. And Johnstone, you rock. And we're playing that quick start version. And in our game, we have a SWvM who is there as the dominant, power-grabbing persona of the galaxy, and his opposite, Moonicorn, who is creativity and joy and freedom. And between them, we have a whole slew of other characters who are trying to make their way in the galaxy. And our story has been pretty exciting. Before we start, though, I want to mention, everyone here has heard before our safety tools, but I'll go over real quick again. We have the Gauntlet inclusivity policy, which really is saying that we're here to support each other. We're generous. We are caring. We are friends. We're here to have fun. And by that, that means that we treat each other with respect. We also have an open table, which means if something gets to you, you can always say, I'm going to take a minute and step away. If something is just too much, you're not wanting to do it anymore, you can say, I think I'm going to dip out. That's perfectly fine. That's, self-care is very, very important in this. And also, we have the X card, which for folks that don't know, you can do this. You can put something up in the chat. Or you can even say to me, Tyler, I want to X that if something becomes too personal or gets to where it's, just destroying your fun. If you're not having fun, then please do that. I may ask for a clarification, but we'll pull back, we'll reframe, and we'll head forward again. No questions asked. It's here to make sure that we're all having the most enjoyable, bit of game that we can. I don't know if you can observe it, but I have managed to break my glasses. And so I only have one lens. So if you see me weirdly squinting, I'm not pretending to be a pirate. I am instead not seeing very well. But so sorry about that. If you see me making faces, I am not making them at you. Now, I'm going to give a real quick recap of kind of where we've come, because this is the last session of 4. And we've had our SWvM, who is Prince Director Corzon, who fairly sympathetic kind of villain in that believes that the old empire is not doing its job well, that it's treating the alien races on the outskirts poorly, and has come up with kind of a brilliant, a very cunning plan, so to speak, to take away the empire's control. And we've watched as that continues along. And in our last session, it came to a sort of fruition as the empire did fall to SWvM, and he has now gained control of that front. Also, though, the religious factors came in to fight SWvM and the Imperial forces, and there was a massive battle. And I'll get to where that exactly ended here in a moment. Along with that, we have Moonicorn, who's been sort of moving through the galaxy, seeing the terrible things that are going on, but not trying to be as involved. Trying to give a light, but not be that sort of torch bearer through the galaxy. And last time we saw a little difference in that, kind of a decision made. And I'll let our Moonicorn discuss that a bit. But we ended with Moonicorn and our other Spiral having zipped through the galaxy on top of a floating platform through hyperspace. And they went one way, then they went the other way, then I think they went back the other way after that. And zipping through space and time, as it were, kind of reaching a decision of what was what they wanted to see, how they were going to face the future. And we had the lover here last time, who sort of sacrificed themselves, sort of left themselves in a bad position, but I think it's fair to say looked and changed the other, gave the other something new to think about and really altered Spiral's way of going about things. But I'll leave that up to Spiral to tell. But we have returning our thief of space and time, who, when we last saw them, had put Spiral into a trans-dimensional bag and jumped through space, and then had separated, the bag going one way and the thief of space and time having disappeared off. But did make one momentary appearance right at the very end of last session, as I was saying, SWvM, having reached this momentous moment, having taken a stand and fighting this battle, had taken the Imperial Dreadnought straight into the religious faction's fleet and exploded it there, destroying the Dreadnought and the religious fleet, that fleet that they had sent. And just as things were ending, just as the smoke was pouring in, and it seemed that SWvM, there was no way he could escape, a hand reached out of the hyperwarp and said, "Professor?" And the thief of space and time had, yoink, taken SWvM out. So that's kind of where we were last time, but I think our players can probably give a little bit better insight to their characters. So I'm going to have people introduce themselves, and we will start, as we almost always do, with the great and powerful SWvM.
So yes, I'm playing the SWvM. SWvM in this instance is Prince Director Curzon, a half-breed member of the royal family who, through his machinations, managed to take control of the spice, which in this game is an almost magical crystal that allows people to communicate psionically across space itself, and is the key to actually faster than light communications in the galaxy. At the end of the last session, I'd managed to kill the Council of the Empty Throne, the ruling council of the Empire. I was aboard their battleship, having tricked the religious faction into attacking the Imperial fleet that was over the planet where my minions and where the leaders of the aliens had gathered to form a rebellion against the Imperials. And in doing so, I triggered an artifact from the beyond. That artifact answered a call. As the hyperspace engines broke, something came through, and just as the other had before them, resulted in the destruction of the star of that system. So at the end of the last session, I was badly wounded, badly injured, on the point of dying, and I was rescued at the last moment. The SWvM, very much not the stand-up fight sort of person. He's physically weak, is more a thinker, more a philosopher. Vehemently believes he's doing the right thing, but does it in an absolutely horrific way. For example, bringing in the religious forces tricking the religious forces into fighting his enemies, leaving huge destruction over the system. He sees the big picture, and to him, the big picture is more important. And I think that's one of the core facts of him when it comes to him. He's all for the greater good, less about the personal.
Thank you very much. We're going to go over and our returning character, uh, Leandro. Would you like to introduce your character, please?
Yes, so back after a week-long furlough, well, that was me, not her. My character is named Frantic Darling, the thief of time and space, space and time. It's in the title anyway. So she was a part of a merchant family who had a great stake in the crystals and the spice of the universe, so to speak, whose position in power was toppled thanks to the machinations of a certain space worm, and so found herself kind of on the run across the galaxy, trying to rebuild her life in any way. So fell into thievery because at the time that was just a pastime, and now it's basically survival for her. And so spent most of this series kind of getting into misadventures, so to speak, because of relationships with the other characters, specifically in relationships with Municorn, who wants to save her from her past, and with our other, who they've developed some sort of weird comedy buddy duo. Basically, they're like a Pixar duo, a classic Buzz Lightyear and Woody sort of pairing. It's sort of like grizzled veteran with immature youngster, though who's who, I don't know. And so the last time we saw Frantic Darling, she had just come across the spaceport that our other Spyro was destroying, and this probably feels like ages ago at this point. But yes, this spaceport was being destroyed by Spyro on the orders of Curzon, who had something important of Spyro's. Frantic Darling was looking for Spyro to give them a crystal that was entrusted to them by Municorn, but found that Spyro was going to destroy this place and the people in it, basically because they were ordered to. And Frantic was very conflicted, and they were all very conflicted, and it was all very emotional and very sad, until finally Frantic resorted to stealing Spyro using her newly unlocked powers of space and time, which she didn't even know she had until there. Thanks, Magic Crystal. And as mentioned, put Spyro in her space satchel, which is a satchel with some neon on it, that become bigger on the inside, so to speak. And in the midst of transwarping through the hyper zone, I forget which terms we use, but I guess they're the same. They got separated, and so Frantic was lost in the hyperspace until fairly recently, where she managed to save her old ethics professor turned dictator for the greater good.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And we're going to come back. I think I'm going to start with you. So keep in mind that we're going to find out a little bit of what happened during the absence of our thief of space and time. But why don't we go ahead and hear from you, Patrick, and introduce your character?
Yeah, so I'm playing the other playbook. Name is Spiral. He, him, they, them, sort of in between. Although I think at this point leaning more towards he, him, just because that's the sort of identity he's ended up being in other people's eyes, if that makes any sense. But he, as sort of previously alluded to, came into this world through an unfortunate accident, set of coincidences, ended with a star blowing up. It was completely unique and unheard of in this entire galaxy until like a week later, and Space Fern comes along. It's like, oh, I'll do it again. So it's fine. I'm just a tourist or traveler or whatever, and this other guy's like some hyperspace space god or something. That's fine. I don't even care. Anyways, I spent some time traveling, exploring this galaxy, this side of the universe, especially several times with Frantic. It was always very exciting. There's lots of running and alarms and people accusing me of being the great evil. But then, no, it was this other evil over here. It was sort of a Magma Man that came out of the sun and was playing with time or something. Who knows? Anyways, things started to get serious because the reason I came across, what was pulling me across the galaxy, was the voice of Moonicorn, this connection, this other that I felt in this world that could guide me across. And so I've been pulled in a number of polls. I've been trying to find Moonicorn, to find that voice. Space Worm at one point had a heart, a piece of me, that has since been given back to me by the lover. And now having interacted with the lover, seen something of this universe, and our colleague showed me something that I hadn't seen before and gave me myself back, and Spiral is less like blank and devoid and now has human features, is less completely and totally alien, although still from somewhere else. So sort of interested to see where that evolution goes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And last but never least, Yoshi, would you introduce our Moonicorn?
Sure. I'm Yoshi, he, him. I'm playing Moonicorn, which is Korra, full name Corazon. They go by they, them. And Korra is a reluctant heir to the Imperial throne, which is no longer a thing. They have some special connection to all of the spice, these crystals that transport messages faster than light, and those crystals glow and recharge their uses in Korra's presence. And Korra tries to hide themselves a little bit, like that reluctancy of like masking them in like very generic clothes and like their long blue black hair that like glows in light, and their like little rainbow nub they try to like hide and tuck under of a plain brown hat. But that all changed at the end of last session when in hyperspace talking with Spiral, there was a conversation that sort of convinced Korra to sort of be that beacon, be that inspiration that people need to kind of rally and get behind. And so in hyperspace, Korra took off their cap and threw it to the void, to the hyperspace, and had their hair like come down and glow, and their horn sort of like glow a bit, and sort of like declare that desire, declare that intention to go between places and rally everybody up to do what needs to get done.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And for you guys and those at home, our fronts in this game, we have the aliens and we have the spice, which are controlled completely by Space Worm. We also have the Imperial Throne, which Space Worm has taken over now. We have interstellar travel, which Moonicorn has managed to defeat that front, and now they no longer are fighting against Moonicorn and are spreading Moonicorn's word, sort of the hope across the galaxy. But our final one, religion, is still out against both Moonicorn and Space Worm. So they are a front that is open. For our game purposes, once Space Worm controls something, they are able to use the elements of it. And if all three of the open fronts are taken, Space Worm would win. Moonicorn, on the other hand, is hunted or attempted to be used by the three fronts. Now that interstellar travel has been defeated by Moonicorn, that falls into Moonicorn's ability to use and kind of manipulate. The other two, should Moonicorn defeat them, they will win. But we're not really so concerned about winning like most role-playing games. We're here to just have a bunch of fun. So with that in mind, I think we're going to start with you there, Frantic Darling. We had a moment where you had been in hyperspace traveling with Spiral and had lost Spiral, the bag with Spiral, and you had sort of tumbled through the hyperspace links and tumbling along, the lights, the flash. I always imagine it a little like the TARDIS flying through in Doctor Who. But as the lights had past you, you'd come to a place where the movement had seemed to stop. The lights are just swirling around you. And in that kind of void of light, two figures step out. One of them is an attractive green-skinned woman. The other is a tall, completely black, featureless figure. Reminds you somewhat of Spiral. The woman looks at you, frantic.
Yes.
You have found your way to us. That makes us very pleased.
Yeah. Where am I?
You're in the space between.
Okay. Well, you know me?
We know of you. You are very special, Frantic. You are gifted.
Are you sure? Because I don't know if you heard, but and I think she's only just really noticing the satchel is gone. But I'm not. Look, I'm not anybody. I'm not Frantic. That's not even my real name. I'm just someone running away. I'm nobody. I'm just here. Sorry, you're mistaken. You're mistaking me for someone else.
No, you are indeed very important. You have touched so much, and you have within you such great and magnificent power.
Why me?
And you could see she kind of gets this little bit of a sad look on her face. Because you're needed. Because the galaxy needs you.
Feel like the galaxy could do better.
The black figure says, the galaxy must take what it gets.
Well, that's making me feel better, thanks. Okay. I mean, I could complain, but and her shoulders kind of slump and like, okay, I guess I could complain, but there's not a point to doing that, is there?
No, Frantic. We will be sending you from this place. No one can stay in the between for very long. But it is important that you know the galaxy you return to is in great danger. Destruction has been hatched, and it will devour everything if it is not stopped.
Okay, yeah, I can't. Who can say no to that? Look, can I just want to know, where I had a friend with me. What? I kind of promised him something. And I don't want to let him down. We kind of had a big deal. It was a big big moment, and I don't want to let him down after that.
The black figures sort of, you can move slightly. Your friend. They have found who they sought, and they have been made whole once more.
Oh. Well, that's good to know.
You will see them soon.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Looking forward to that. So about this impending doom, what am I? Oh my God, she's not trying to. She's looking at her feet. This is too much. What am I steal things. I don't know if I'm good at that. What are we gonna do?
You are going to do what you are best at, Frantic. You're going to steal things. Destruction is one part, but there is creation that is always opposed to it. Destruction comes from the dark. Creation comes from the light.
So where does stealing fall into that?
There is one you know. He calls himself the Prince Director. They have the symbol of light. They have the crystal.
Well, if they have it, Prince Director, that's Professor Curzon, right?
Yes. And you see her sort of give this rather sweet nostalgia, slightly sad smile. He has within him, they have within them, a spark of goodness. Just needs to be fanned. They found the crystal of light. They do not know how to use it.
And you want me to show them the way? I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to complain, but let me just have one. Look, I wasn't even like, look, where I had a big family, and I wasn't even like the last or the first. I was like the seventh, and it's not even a fun number, and they're all gone. I'm kind of the only one left. All I want to do is I just want a bed, you know. You ever have that where you have like a place where you can just come home and nothing bad's gonna happen? You can just lie down, forget about whatever your day was. I mean, can I just tell me? Is that in my future? Can I at least have that after all this? If I do this,
The black figure. You will have rest, Frantic darling. Once your task is done, you shall find rest.
okay, I'll do this. Okay, fine. All right. Just send me whatever way. I'll do it.
Very well. And the green-skinned woman. Corazon needs you. They are in danger. Rescue them. Have them give you the crystal of light. And there is one in this galaxy who can make that light shine. And that will end the darkness, destruction.
Okay. Asking me to out-debate my ethics, Professor. All right, okay. I can try that. Okay. No. Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
And she leans over and she kisses you lightly on the cheek. Frantic, you can do this. You were born for it. And as the kiss touches you, the lights rush by, and you can kind of see at the end of that tunnel this enormous explosion in the midst of this fleet. As you're rushing by, you see to the side this gigantic black roiling mass, tentacles reaching from it. It's the size of a planet, perhaps the size of a sun. It is so enormous. And as you rush, you see the bridge of this giant ship that's exploding out. And sitting on a throne, you see Prince Director Corazon. And as the hyperspace opens, you could see this ship beginning to explode.
I reach out a hand to them. Professor?
I'm sorry. And alien blood is dripping from his lips. Wounds perforate his body. He's having so much difficulty breathing at the moment, let alone anything else.
Oh, shit.
And as you touch his hand, you pull him through the hyperspace. And we're going to stop there. We'll come to where you go after that. As whomp, off the bridge, y'all disappear. Meanwhile, Spiral and Cora, I believe you had changed direction, and am I right? You were heading back towards the planet where now there's been the explosion and the black darkness and all that?
Yeah. That's where all those people were being horribly bombarded by ships, which is like the worst thing that could possibly happen to them. I can't imagine anything worse.
Also, Frantic, did you pick up a second special move?
Yes, I took, hold on, I took the Devil's Own Luck. I added +1 to my lucky score. I still have a -1 in Charming, so trying to out-debate my ethics professor, this could end well. Who knows?
All right, just wanted to check and see. All right, so Spiral, Unicorn, Cora, you've rushed back through hyperspace, and as this kind of platform coalesces back there, you can see behind you the destruction as that whole fleet is just blown up. And behind, bam, bam, bam. We're getting the full Star Trek or Star Wars, the little tiny dots of pieces of things that fly away for whatever reason they do. And over here, you can see that the sun has basically imploded on itself, and there is this roiling mass of blackness. And it's dark because there's no sun here, only the lights of the stars that are shining, and I guess the blasts of these ships. But y'all are kind of floating there.
My question to you, is this black new sun maybe considered an authority figure or an institution that I'm first encountering?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, when you first encounter authority, the GM must do one of these.
I'll also say, Yoshi, you're the only one out of the two of us that has an assess type move. So if we want to figure out what this is, I apparently don't care.
I'm definitely planning on assessing the situation in a second. But first, I'm going to see what it reveals to me without needing to do the assess.
Okay, I think I'm going to reveal corruption within this authority. As you're looking at it, you can see, just sense from it, its desire to grow, to expand, and it is seeking out the light. And it is going to, you can just feel, it is going to move from here to the next sun, and it's going to try to consume. It's going to destroy those and become greater with each one that it devours. But the corruption within it, you can see it has nothing but this purpose. There is no other thought. There is no other desire other than the hunger, the want for destruction. It has nothing else. That is foreign to it.
Cool. So like, I think what you see is like, as we come in, like, are we still on that like little dais that's just like floating there?
It's floating there.
Yeah. So like, I'm on that, and it's totally like my hair, like, it's like long blue black. I think it totally like goes up and fans like super anime style, like glowing, as like I kind of like sort of stand there and like close my eyes, and like you can see the little nub like glow. And I want to communicate with it. So like I speak with the from the heart, so you can communicate effectively with anyone, everyone in your presence, whether they're alien, animal, or human being.
Yep.
And so like it communication in the sense that like I want to use this as like the leverage to do the assess. And the question that I'm trying to do is like, I sense this hunger for everything. And my question is like, what, if anything, will satiate the hunger of this thing? And so with that,
All right.
roll.
That's right.
Let's
You're rolling with
see.
integrity.
All right. Last roll is a 4 plus 3 is 7. So I get a 7 to 9.
All right. Useful and interesting. Going with your question. And again, tell me the question. So I
Yeah.
can...
So what, if anything, will satiate the hunger? So like I will totally stand by nothing as like an acceptable answer, like type thing.
As I've said, it has this desire to consume the light of these stars. But a light that it cannot consume. That is what would satiate it. The light that is probably more significant than simply the light of a sun.
Cool. So like I think I gain that, and my like eyes open, and I turn to Spiral, and I look and I see like the destruction that's around. And I'm like, we don't have what we need here. It's going to keep consuming everything that is here. We need to get everyone that we can out of here. Like, everyone that is here, we need to tell them to run as fast as they can, as far away from this thing, until we can regroup and come back with what we need, with what it needs.
These people need an escape.
Yes. And I look at you, and like sort of like how we just like at the platform that we just came from, I'm like, is there something you can do to help these people get out of here?
Maybe. We will see. And I think this like weird platform and dais that we're on, Spiral goes over to the whatever, the sort of little pole that's in the center, and like his hands reach down and like sink into it. And I think the circuitry and the everything in it, they start to glow and spark. And then there's just this like, it's still floating where the ground used to be, but there's now this like quickly expanding hole down underneath it that's gonna open up to the center of the planet. And I want to ask the other world. Let's see. I want to ask the other world for a way, the means, the energy to like fuse this transporter with this planet. Just take this planet somewhere else.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think that's awesome. I think you'll be rolling alien.
Yes. I could be better at. That's an 8.
I am totally going to like go on the other side of the pole and like put my hand on my shoulder and then look into your eyes and I'm like, Spiral, you can do this. I believe in you. Which triggers my I believe in you move. So I'll lower my integrity and it bumps it up 1 level. So from a 7 to 9 to a 10 plus.
Yes,
Nice.
indeed.
So yeah, I think there's this like additional flare as this whole thing lights up in this glowing sort of iridescence and just shoots down towards the center of the planet. And let's see, on a 7 plus, your home brings you something similar, either from itself or seizing something from this galaxy. A 7 to 9, trouble would come with it. Either way, it's marked by its otherworldliness.
And so as you drop this into the planet, and there is, we could see that thing reaching out to try and, consume this whole solar system, these planets that are there. And, again, it's dark because the sun's gone. There's only the bits of star and the explosions that are lighting it. And we see that same color that we see in hyperspace sort of begin to swirl around the planet in this faster growing royal. As a massive tunnel opens and it begins flowing through. Are you going with it, Spiral?
Oh yeah. Let's not hang around and chat with the giant devouring space god.
As you out, you can sense, and Moonicorn, you can sense this too, that enormous thing, destruction, notice you. And its weight kind of falls onto the two of you. The Eye of Sauron sort of thing, as it's noticed you. And as the planet's leaving, each of you hear something different. Spiral, you hear, I followed you. Lead me further. And Moonicorn, you hear, I will have that spark within you. I shall feast. And whoa, you're gone, flying through hyperspace. And before I scoot away, I want to ask, Spiral, where are you going?
Well, I mean, this machine, this transport, and me, I've just learned how to move through space in this galaxy in this way, and well, there's only one place that I really know well, and that would be Orient. So this is definitely popping into the same system with Orient. And again, before we cut away, because I'll give Yoshi you the space of the other scene to consider this, but as we're traveling through, I would like to ask you a question from Oceans Tell Their Secrets. Curious, what do you hope for the future? So.
Nice. And we'll come back to that answer when we return to the two of you. However, right now, we have Frantic has just taken Corzon and pulled them through into the hyperspace. As that closes behind, you can almost feel, sense the awful that goes on where you've just left. Corzon, you are injured. I'm going to give us a moment or two for the two of you to talk in hyperspace. Then I'm going to ask where we go. So,
as you look at the Prince Director, you look closely, you see his eyes, which once were bright and shining, are now almost entirely white. He looks incredibly badly injured. It's quite obvious that he's lost his vision as a result of his injuries. Something has happened to him. And he says, I gave you instructions to flee. Why would you come back? Why would you risk it all for me? You carried our future with you. The future we had sought to make together.
Professor, that's I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. You're thinking of something else. It's
Darling, darling, my darling. We had this vision. I am done for. I am dying. I told you to flee. And he reaches over to kiss who he thinks is his beloved, because the family resemblance in the voice is quite noticeable.
Yeah.
And he holds you and he lays his kiss on your head.
Oh, Professor, I'm not that darling. Yeah, my name. I'm Fran. No, that's not my real name. No, my name is Joy. Do you remember me? Joy, Joie.
He looks.
I.
And he seems to get a moment of thankfulness that you aren't who he thought you were. Thank you for coming for me. But it is too late. It is. And he starts spitting out blood again.
Oh my God. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not, Professor. It's not too late. I have to steal some time for you. No. And
I have no time left. And are you going to steal time for him?
Well, the thing is, now I can only spend time. That was a figure of speech. But sorry, I can spend time, but I have to steal it first. But that was basically me just saying, like, no, you're I'm taking you someplace safe, Professor. You're not someone to give up. No, you were a hard ass in school. You're not gonna give up now.
I haven't given up. The wheels have been set in motion. And I think at this point he's starting to drop off and his strength's leaving him.
So frantic. What are you going to do? Corzon looks horribly injured. Where would you take them?
I'm gonna take them to a safe. I know a place I know is safe. I'm gonna take them to what used to be my home. It's, you know what, just for convenience sake, it's also an Oran. You know what? Let's bring this all together.
That makes sense. It's where your family was from.
Yeah. So we travel through hyperspace, and when we kind of drop in, I'm kind of carrying them on my shoulders now. And when we kind of fade in, I kind of fall on the ground, and they're on top of me, coughing up blood. Blood's on my space hoodie, which is a hoodie with neon on it. I'm in this it's a clearing in this forest. The land is marshy and clearly unkempt, and in front there are ruins. It's a burnt, charred husk of what used to be clearly a very nice townhouse. We might be right in front of the where the front door used to be, and sitting or standing in the middle of the ruins is this big rectangular cube. It's not a rectangular cube. That's an oxymoron. It's a rectangular room basically that survived the fire. This big metal panic room, and I'm kind of like just carrying the professor to the door and kind of keying the lock, and door opens, and it's this disheveled panic room. There's a bed there that I deposited on. They're soaking the sheets. I'm kind of looking around and like, oh no, I I should stock up on medical supplies soon. And I'm just like basically throwing whatever at them, trying to get them bandaged, trying to like, oh, go on.
Would you like to consult your knowledge to?
Yeah.
To ask.
Yeah, I was, yeah. Because I'm coming out knowledge about something. I'm gonna ask if, let's say, if, but how well can I keep the professor alive with the
Alright.
stuff I have? And
Rolling with lucky.
ooh, I think I just took a move. Oh my god! Even with a +3, that's a 5.
Oh.
I tried my best.
I think I quote unquote die at this point.
If that's what you'd
Well,
like,
no,
I have-
not full death. Sort of like fall into a coma, and
I like that because I have an idea here. You grabbing the things that you think can help, and I have the idea of like those aerosol hypo, very Star Trekky sort of things you inject stuff in. So you've grabbed them and you're doing that sort of thing, and we see kind of Corzon give a bit of a shudder as you pull this into them and kind of pass out into maybe like a coma almost, or definitely out. And your answer here is you've had to put them into a sort of stasis until something can come that can renew that spark within them, something that you can find that will put that bit of life back, renew them again. Nothing you have in this room, but you've gotten time. You've stolen a bit of time for Corzon at this point. And I think we see, as you're frantically doing this, and the door's still open, we see outside of the door, appearing over the horizon, the planet that has just been transported in won't appear. And we're not going to mess with physics on how horrible that would all cause things to do. Instead, it's just, it's now there that you can see beyond the planet. Wow, that's cool.
What the fuck?
Wowie. So, with that in mind, I'm going to come back, I think, to you, Spiral and Cora. Spiral, you had asked a question.
Yeah, it was, what do you hope for the future? And we'd sort of talked about this in the chat, but this is in like the darkest moment in between worlds when we're traveling, where Spiral sort of diffuses out of his body, and it's a bit like in their heads, it's a bit out loud. I described it sort of like a Vulcan mind meld.
Yeah, and so like I think because this is hyperspace, like that we're traveling through, and like I get super sick in hyperspace, so it's like me like kneeling down and like sitting on the pedestal and maybe like leaning my back against that single pole in the center of this dais, and just like kind of like my head in my hand and sort of like almost like mumbling out the answer as like I hear this, like it, like I'm in this like sick, like dreamy instance and just sort of like talking through it. And it's just like the future. I hope, I just want to see everybody alive and vibrant and thriving. I want to see so many different cultures and aliens and planets living, and I want to be surprised constantly by what they do. I don't want everybody to be the same, and I want everybody to have that surprise and joy as they see everything else that is out there, and to that sense of wonder that is there. That's what I hope for the future.
Oh. And Spiral, as you hear this, do you say anything as the hyper way is fixing to open up into this new solar system?
Yeah, I think like as we're making that transition back through, and since we've been going through the hyperspace, I think there's sort of been like visions of this played out between us, and as we're coming back in, and your sense of normality is sort of coming back, and it's like waking up from a dream. I think you just hear his voice inside your head, and it says, "That's all I've ever wanted. That's what drew me across the worlds, across the boundaries, to see new things."
And like I think if you're reforming, like it's maybe me like standing up from like that crouched kneeling position, like leaning on the dais as you're reforming. It's like it's what I want. Let's go make it together.
And as you say that, and the planet appears in this solar system, and kind of in between that planet and Orient, the two of you are floating on the dais. And from the planet, there is this sparkly glow as it recognizes Moonicorn. Of course, this is the spice planet. And across the solar system, like a chorus, this music from the planet sort of rises as the crystals sing. Inside of the bunker, Frantic, you hear the whole planet sort of chiming with this music. Perhaps it gives you hope. Perhaps it makes you go, what the fuck? But it sort of chimes, and there's a bit of a glow around everything. And even in your slumber, Space Worm, you know Moonicorn has arrived. Frantic, what are you doing?
Go when you're muted.
Sorry. And at this point, as I'm going into the slumber, I whisper a single word. Cora.
Oh yeah, I hear that. I think I know, and I hear that chorus. I think I know exactly what I'm doing. I know who I'm looking for. They're probably not very hard to find, because this has happened before, right? This kind of chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and I know, yeah, and I'm standing in the consequences of what happened last time. So I'm gonna go look for I'm looking at the space professor, and it's like, all right, they're fine for now. So I'm gonna seal the bunker and go running, trying to find Moonicorn, who might be near that giant planet that just showed up. I don't know. There's a giant planet, or not a giant planet, another planet.
All right. And so as you move out and you see this thing, as you're kind of, we'll say for now, sort of walking, but there'll probably have to be something more than walking to the planet eventually. But I think more, let's see, Spiral, now that you're there, what are you doing?
I keep pausing because I keep looking at my moves, and my moves are not very like self-initializing.
I suppose technically you also completed a task for Moonicorn if you wanted to do that. I don't know if you want to hit your completed task on it. You already had the in the dark.
I can if you want me to roll something.
It's up to you.
I've asked a lot of questions. I feel good on questions.
Okay.
Maybe it's me talking to you. Is like when we get out, I'm like, whether or not you meant to bring us here, this is probably the right place. I need to find a never-ending light. And what better way to reach out to everybody else than here on Orient, to find that light, to see who has it and any leads and what they can bring us.
It is very bright here. You bring much with you. I fear, though, I've brought something with me as well. I do not think it will be long before it arrives here.
Then we don't have any time to lose. Let's get to Orient. There's a room full of crystals.
As you say that, I think we're going to have, in proper Star Wars fashion, we see one of the interstellar transports moving towards you, and we hear, even though we're not able to in space, but we still hear the across to you, Admiral, and it will come over and pick you guys up. You load on, we'll see just, it heading down towards the planet. And you, Frantic, see, not in the very far distance, this ship landing in towards where the Prince Director's kind of palace is, the main structure that they have. I think we're going to have just a cut to. I don't think we need to see you trudging across the desert with R2-D2 following you along. I think we're going to cut to you rushing up as the transport is landing there at the Prince Director's palace. So, door opens, and Frantic, you see Moonicorn and Spiral there.
Yeah, and Spiral's completely different, or it looks different, right?
Yeah, he has like facial features and not like colors, or like you can't see like his pupils or irises or whatever, but he's not just like a blank mask anymore. And he almost has expressions sometimes.
Also, Frantic's hoodie's covered in blood. They hadn't changed. I think I kind of see that. I just kind of suddenly I'm very, very exhausted because technically the whole spaceport thing to grabbing the director to trying to save Professor to here is still happening. So I just kind of like fall to my knees in front of the two of you. And just like, Cora, where's Cora? There. Professor's looking for.
Yeah. Frantic, it is wonderful to see you. I do not like that hoodie. Cora is over here.
Spiral! Oh my god! You're a Spiral! Oh, wait. You're Spiral. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're safe. And I see Moonicorn's like, oh, you're Cora. Oh god. Can I fall into one of your arms? I don't know which one, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna fall. It's between the two of you. Oh, Garen, you're gonna say something?
Yeah,
I was going to say into or through.
Depends on who gets to me first, I guess.
So I'll totally like as you rushed up to Spiral, like step out from behind Spiral and come down and sort of like because like it sounded like you were like sort of like almost kneeling on the ground type thing. Like I'll go down to your level and with like a hand on your shoulder, and I'll be like asking you, it's like, Frantic, you're covered in blood. Are you okay? And at which point, if you want to fall into my arms, you can totally fall into my arms.
Yeah. I think the day just gets to me. I'm just like, as I fall into yours, I'm kind of like just mumbling like, they're looking for Cora. They're the professor. They're back home. They're looking Professor Curzon. They're looking for Cora. They're
And I think I just like take you and like lift you up and like carry you like bridal style, like in my arms like this, and just like talking to you as I'm like, we're going there now. That's where we were headed anywhere. You're safe, Frantic. Like, you'll be fine.
They're just about to die. I couldn't.
It takes a lot to get rid of one of us. I can't imagine my cousin going out that easily.
I think on that line, we're going to cut over to you, Corazon, because you're in this deep slumber, this sort of stasis. But your mind is sort of floating. I think we're going to have a scene with your mother. As, you know, this sort of light is around you, and where you'd been in darkness, that blindness, you see this light, and then a figure sort of coalesces out of it, of your mother. My child, you're hurt.
Dearest mother, it goes beyond hurt. I bear these wounds, but these wounds are badges. I have done what you have asked me. I have freed our people.
You have done well. You make me so proud.
And the professor isn't one to show emotion normally. It's only in matters of high duress he normally does. And you can see a tear welling up in his eye, and it flows slowly down his cheek. It has not been enough, mother. There is so much yet to do. But
and you will do it, my son.
It is too late. I have paid the price for my follies.
She touches you on the cheek. It is never too late.
And he turns his face into the hand.
I will be waiting for you when it is time. But it is not time yet. Your work is not finished.
And what must I do? And he looks up, and as he opens his eyes, they're white again.
There will be a light in the darkness, and you must feed that light. It is within you.
I cannot see any light, mother. The world is but blackness and despair.
Yes, for now. But you will see the light, my son. It is waiting there for you.
Mother, tell me I have done the right thing. I have caused so many deaths. I have caused so much destruction. I have doomed so many people for this good, for this goal. So many innocent. So many children will grow up without parents. Is it worth it?
There cannot be light without darkness. There cannot be creation without destruction. You take a burden on, my son, but it is a burden that must be shouldered.
Then it is a price I must pay. I must lose my soul to save others.
You are so strong, my son. I love you.
And I reach up for the amulet. I take it out. And I go to open it. I cannot see you, mother. And the amulet, the picture inside is one of those ones that actually has a slight three-dimensionality to it. And he runs his hand over it. I've kept you close through all this. He closes the amulet and takes it off. There are others I must walk with now.
And you feel, since you can't see, you feel that amulet taken from you. And it seems the voice is fading as she says, when the sun rises, we will see each other again, my child. We're going to cut back. Actually, it's 3:30. Let's take our break. I think that's a lovely break moment. There definitely would be a commercial at that one. So let's take 5 minutes and we'll come back for the grand finale. Patrick, you say you have an idea?
Yeah, I'll wait till Gerwin shows back up.
Okay, cool. And I have a little bit of something in mind that's going to happen here as well. All right, Patrick, your idea?
So my idea, if you're interested, Gerwin, was that Curzon seems to have no limit of spirit and will, but a body that's just not doing it anymore. So I was wondering if I could ask for a new body from the other world for you.
Ah, that noise you hear is my heartbeat just going.
So yeah, I think we have that like very touching scene sort of fade out into the light with him and his mother. And on the real side, we see Spiral coming up to him over his like barely breathing, bleeding, comatose form. He touches his chest where Anarkali had given him his heart back, and there's just this like thunderous crack from inside him as he pulls his hand away, and a long, sharp shard of that crystal comes out with it, and he just stabs it down through Curzon's heart. So I think the sort of eye-opening moment is you coming back to being like stabbed in the chest and transformed.
Okay, and as you stab it in, the eyes go wide, the eyes which are white. And slowly you see little flecks of black and little tendrils.
Nice.
And eventually the eyes fill with the darkness. And there's a gasp. And he sits bolt upright.
So, fun news.
Yeah, I
got a 5, which, barring anything else, means the GM tells me the consequences.
All right. Is anyone doing anything to mess with that?
Yeah, I'll totally help out and bump it up. I think this is since it's you doing this, I think it's me holding the amulet, like the hand that took the amulet from Curzon.
Oh yes,
me holding it, and then like the camera sort of like pans out a little bit, and it's me on the other side holding the amulet, holding the like the other shoulder of Curzon, looking at you, and it's like, Spiral, I know you can do this. Like, I feel safest with you. You are the one who can make this work.
And can I expand on that slightly? The entire site goes on side of that conversation you heard.
Ooh. I'd also like to hear, since that's going to take us up to the 7 to 9. So they bring you what you,
yeah. Your home world, your home brings you something similar, either from itself or by seizing something from this galaxy. And on a 7 to 9, trouble comes with it.
Perfect. And I would like to hear, Gerwin, you've told of this otherworldly darkness that's come in, but I want to hear, since Cora added in their light, how is that also reflected in you?
I think there's a small crack of blood coming down from my forehead, and it runs down, and you can see a small nub actually expanding from the center of his head.
Excellent. And up in the, we've got all of you crowded around this bed there, frantic, as you're kind of, I'm guessing, standing just slightly behind as Spiral and Cora are doing this. But you see in this amulet that Cora's holding, you see that green woman that spoke to you in the void. That is that woman. There's no doubt in your mind. And for our camera's sake, we're looking from the bed at you, your face reaction to it, and beyond you out the door, we see space begin to be ripped open as tendrils creep out from it. And on either side, all around that great rift that these tendrils are reaching, black tendrils are reaching out of, we see ships jumping in. The massive cathedral ships, as well as the Holy See, the great space station of the United Religions. Frantic, how do you react seeing that woman?
I'm just. I don't want to drop another F-bomb because I think we're in a PG-13 show. You're not allowed one of those. I'm just really confused. Like, again, just all of this is like machinations over machinations, and I'm just so tired. I see this woman, this admin is like, oh my god, what is that? Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know if Jesus Christ exists in this world, but it's so like, okay, now I have another question to ask. I can't. But do I hear the ships? Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I like make a very futile gesture and close the bunker doors?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of like I see that because the thing is, all this happening, it kind of makes me feel like I've done my job. I see the woman is like, all right, okay, now that I'm done for now. I turn around, I see the Holy See and all that. I'm like, oh Christ! And so I just rush forward and just put in a code that closes the door behind us. Don't worry, there's still light in the bunker.
I quite like the idea. Survey move you could do at the open door if you wanted.
Oh, the thing is, I was gonna say, we have cameras looking on the outside. This is a panic room. So,
nice.
Sorry, this is just my bunker. I'm declaring whatever's in there.
Would you like to survey the dangerous area?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Let's have you roll death then.
Yay. Okay, so that is a 7. Thank Christ.
Okay, so you get 2.
Okay. What causes the danger to activate?
I'm going to give it to you in 2 pieces. The Holy See, the religious factor, want to open up so that destruction can come and take this place. They're going to try and clear the way for destruction to reach out, come all the way through, and devour this light here. We're getting the impression maybe the religious group is a doomsday cult. We may be getting that impression at this point.
I should throw my hat with the good people.
The second part of the answer is this dark thing that's coming through. Probably the religious group thinks it's going to go and take the sun like it did the other place. But it is definitely coming towards the planet where y'all are on. And your second question?
I don't think there's anything else hidden here. I think at this point everything's all very clean cut. What's our best way in, out, or through? Just to get out of this situation, so to speak.
Okay. As you're looking at this, and all this is going on behind you, you know that if it comes all the way out, you can't beat it. It has to be stopped still in the in-between and cast back into that void. The best thing you can do is keep it out. Face it there in the at the edge of the void.
As someone who only knows how to run, that's not a good answer. So I think is Curzon awake at this point?
We're going to hop back over, I think, and Curzon, as you've sat up,
Okay, and before we go on, Patrick, I believe I asked Spiral to destroy a spaceport. Do you have any? I believe you did
True
that.
enough.
Do you have any questions you want to ask me?
Yes. Yeah. I like the symmetry actually of the same question I just asked Moonicorn of what do you hope for the future?
I hope for a future where people are safe to be who they should be.
Yeah, and hold up, let him roll because he does
sorry.
have to roll on this a little bit.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
That's okay.
Oh, that is a 12, though.
Continue on, Garwin.
I hope for a future where all creatures are safe. I wish to treat all creatures as my children and protect them as only a father can.
A somewhat harsh father, perhaps.
Spare the rod.
All right. So as you've sat up, and Spider, I want to know, since you're the one we've said has made this body, but it's really more of a transformation, it seems. What does that mean? What do we see? And we've seen the changes as Gerwin has described, but what does it mean to have this new body, to have been transformed?
I think for someone like Curzon, it means all of that connection to the other world, all of those visions and knowledge of the future, whether it's true or not, comes through as surety, sort of thing. It's like these aren't just random visions that are happening to you. This prophecy, this sort of look at the future, is built into you, into the fiber of your being. And so I think it's the thing of like what futures you see, you're just completely convinced that that's what will be, must be, has to be.
Sound good, Gerwin?
That sounds brilliant.
All right. Cora, you've seen this sort of miraculous thing happen. And I'm guessing also that now your vision has returned.
No, I still think I'm blind.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Okay.
See, I can see, but I can only see the future.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh. Very interesting. All right. So Cora, you've watched as this miraculous thing has occurred. And Curzon has stepped up. You're holding this thing here. You've heard the door close. What are you doing?
I think I'm leaning over Curzon, or maybe like standing there if Curzon's sitting up, and like hand on shoulder, and I'm like, cousin, I know you're a collector of things. We're seeking a never-ending light. Have you heard anything like this that might exist? I've been told it's the only thing that's going to stop and satiate the hunger that is coming from above.
I have seen this thing which you speak. It is closer than you think. The very world trembles with it. Can you not feel it? It calls out to me. Can you not hear it?
The crystals themselves. This is the light?
The crystals are but fragments we cut from this planet. It is not a planet of crystals. It is a crystal itself.
And I think you just like see like my face smile, and I'm like, all right, we can do this. And I like look to you. I'm like, can you walk?
I stand up, and as I stand up, I think I stand up and I go up. I actually go up on tiptoes as if I'm floating, buoyed by the energy of the actual of the nether realm or the place in between. But there is something more you must know. There is a great cost to be paid here. Do you know what the crystals do?
I've spent my whole life trying to avoid them. I know how they react to me.
The crystals connect minds through the hyperspace. They are the connection between the worlds. If this creature is to be stopped, we must sever that connection. We must destroy the planet.
And I look at you, I'm like, destruction's not what it wants. Or destruction is what it wants. We can't destroy the planet. Maybe we'll lose access to it. But we have to be the never-ending light that it cannot consume in order to stop it.
There is more risk in what you speak than what I said previously. There is not strength enough in one to do this.
That's why I'm not going alone, cousin. That's
No.
why I asked you to stand up, to come with me.
No, even both of us. And I'll turn to look at Frantic. And Spiral, even those around us do not possess the strength. All the minds of all the creatures of this galaxy must join together in unison.
Wow. Luckily for us, I made an impassioned speech once on this planet in your throne room here. I reached everyone there.
Yes, and that was as part of a vision that I had brought forth. I apologize.
Maybe it was the right vision, just the wrong time. Maybe now's the time.
No, it was the right time. We have sown the seeds of greatness in these people. Peace in the future. Any farmer must pluck out the weeds to bring forth the crop that must come forward. If we are to tend the forest, some trees must be felled. It is regrettable, but the forest thrives as a result.
Cousin.
The price is...
Go ahead, Yoshi. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go on, Yoshi. No, go on, Yoshi. Sorry.
I'm like, cousin, you speak truth in that the forest, the older trees sometimes need to fall and let the younger saplings see the light and bask in the light in order to grow. Both of us, neither of us are very, very old, but perhaps our branches are shading too much of what's there. Come with me and let's be the beacon that falls and starts this, and all we can do is watch those saplings grow on their own.
These things have come to pass once. They will come to pass again. There will be another Curzon. There will be another Cora. This is not a line, but a circle. There will always be woe. There will always be despair and pain. And there will always be those who seek to right it. Your way is a way that encourages that. You seek to reinforce the wheel. I seek to break it.
Okay, I think we're gonna hold there. I'm going to kind of, we're in our last hour. I'd like, I'm gonna frame a little bit here so that we have a chance to also do a little Rose of Thorns afterwards, because I want to see us hit our high notes more than the in-betweens. So I think we've, as this is going on, we've seen the cathedral ships coming out the Holy See there, and this thing struggling, pulling itself out. The church, the religious order has come down, and we know for certain that the first thing they did was go to Corazon's palace. So they have come in and taken that area. We know kind of the focus point that we can use these crystals. It's probably that big one. I mean, there's the whole planet. We could play around with how we do things, but that's always that's one of our things. So one problem, that thing is inside there behind tons of troops. Another problem is obviously this thing is crawling out, but it's doing it way up in space. And we've kind of been told, got an idea, it needs to be stopped there. So we've got to get to that point of wherever we're going to be to face it. Now, it's going to come crawling out. You could just wait here, but we were told if it gets all the way out, we're kind of screwed. So I'd love for us to kind of figure how we get the crystal. We obviously have someone who's well suited for that. Getting to the void. We may have someone well suited for that. And then our climactic scene of the defeat, hopefully, of our thing. Does that sound good? That seemed like a good little plan set up for us to do. All right, then. So I'm going to open to Spiral and Frantic. Since we've had a moment or two of Moonicorn and Space Worm there in deep talk. And Spiral probably leave into you to initiate this conversation with the knowledge that this thing is going to come through soon and having overheard what they said. So the two of you deciding what to do. Patrick and Andrew?
It seems to be running out of tentacles to pull through.
Okay. Is that like is that a good thing or a bad thing? You tell me.
Well, once it's here, it's not somewhere else anymore.
Wow. Can I just say, you look so much different, but you're still Spiral, aren't you?
I remain as ever I was.
That's good. I like. Well, I like you anyway, but you look well.
You look different.
I should probably change out of this hoodie. It's starting to reek.
No, it's not that. It's not the clothes. It's here. You look different here.
Oh, we're kind of standing on what happened to my home, to my family. If we weren't busy, I would show you the tree where I fell and broke a tooth trying to climb it. Then things happen, and it all kind of fell apart. Do you not remember when we first met? You asked me what I hope for the future.
Yes. You hoped for a bed, place to call your own, a home.
Yeah. The thing is, when all this happened, I thought it was the best thing. I thought the professor did me a service, freeing me from a family I thought was overbearing and whatnot. And then I ran as fast as I could. I ran as hard as I could. And then I got tired. But I didn't have a place to go when I'm tired. So I just kept running. And it sucks. Spiral, it really sucks when you're just running.
But if you had a place to sleep, the running would be fun. Seeing new places.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you not take your home with you?
The this isn't really home. That's the thing. This is a place where a bunch of people I knew stayed and cried as they wait for the end to come. It's not a good place. And besides, I can't really take places like
No, it's a bad place, but the home is a good home. And he'll like pull from behind him that pillar and pedestal, and pick it up like over his sort of 8-foot frame and slam it down into the floor of the bunker here, as I think like circuits and energy spread out from it to sort of fuse with the floor around it. He says, "Here, see? Now the home is a good home, but doesn't need to stay in a sad place."
Okay, look. Oh my god. I don't have interdimensional powers. Like I can't. Okay. No, I appreciate the sentiment. The home isn't just. I don't know. If you take a home with you all the time, you're still just kind of running, and
Yes, but the important thing about going to new places is seeing yourself, your home, in new lights.
Is that why you're here?
To see new suns, to see new things, to find new me's. It's all I've ever wanted.
That's honestly, I just realized I've never asked you that all this time. I just thought you were just a weird space monster.
People tend to either scream or demand things of me. Questions do not come high on their lists.
Well, I'm glad you're here. No, really. Thanks for just being honest, I guess. Just for being someone I could come to, you know?
I am also glad you are here.
Oh, thanks.
It might be sad otherwise.
Well, let's try and make sure that doesn't happen. Oh. Wait, do you have my space satchel, actually? Do you still have that?
I think actually SWvM ended up with it, didn't he?
No, it was left on the planet when you left.
Oh, the big horrible thing has it.
Yes.
Aw. Darn it. Okay. All right, look, if I can make one space satchel accidentally, I can make one deliberately. Probably.
All right. God, that was a pretty scene. I'm going to scoot over. We've had SWvM and Moonicorn. You've kind of come up with this sort of, a plan. What needs to be done? Cora, you need to speak. You need them to hear you. What do you need for that? What are you going to do?
So, I think that I need to get to the giant crystal, like you were alluding to. So I think I need somebody to break us in there. So, I think it's turning to frantic in their conversation, and it's like, this is lovely, y'all, but there's a giant thing out there that's coming, and we need to get somewhere, and I know you can help me get there. So hopefully there will be enough time after all of this is done that we can continue this conversation, but let's get there first.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, no, that makes sense. I was just asking Spyro for my space bag. It's a bag that's bigger on the inside. That would make breaking y'all into places really easy, much more easy. Yeah. So that's the reason I can make another one, maybe.
So, would you like to make another one? Is there anyone with popping up an idea of the bag appearing, or do we want to have our thief produce a new one?
My men are still on that planet, and I'll look to the one up on the horizon. Tell me what you need, and it shall be provided.
Okay, so it's a space satchel, so it's kind of like a satchel but with neon on it. Shouldn't be hard to miss.
Where was it last?
Turn to Spiral. Spiral had it.
Yes, it was in a place. It was very descriptive, and I have just described it thusly.
Your powers of language and description astound me even to this day, Spiral. And I think I'll grab one of the crystals from the ground, and as I touch it, it starts glowing like it did with Moonicorn.
Ooh.
And I will take it up to my lips and whisper something into it, and I'm going to command my my people on the planet to bring us the bag.
And worth noting, you're back on Orin. You are in your place of power.
Hey! So, that's a 7.
All right. So, with a 7, let's see, they try to enact your will, but there are complications you may have to deal with. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I have a wonderful idea. So, as you whisper this in, coming back to you is Anna Darling. I have it. You're here, my love. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. As we see one of the fast transports moving this direction.
My love, do not come to me. There is something that needs to be done. It is something I can only trust to you. The entire fate of the world rests upon this.
What is it, my lord?
There is a neon bag, but I don't say it in that sort of... there's a bag with neon writing on it, but I don't say it quite like that. On the planet above in location, which I've just described.
You're so descriptive, my love.
It must be brought to me.
It shall be done. Yeah.
No. The price cannot be too high. This is needed. Without this, the future lays in the balance. Any price, my darling. And my voice breaks as I say it. And I'm going to be using my Vader move at this point.
All right.
I'm basically ordering them to take it no matter the cost. And I'm sacrificing Anna Darling to do it.
Oh. All right. So we see. Yes, of course, my lord. And we get a cutscene, I think. We see as that fast transport heading back to the planet. Landing, we see Anna Darling searching, and then there, the glowing bag as she reaches down to grab it. Rushing back onto the ship, but we can see the tentacles reaching out. And as they reach towards the planet, the ship takes off, and one of them, just these enormous tentacles, swipes across, hitting the ship. We see the explosion of it as a single escape pod coming to the planet. We will then cut to the pod there and I think, dying Anna Darling as the door opens and she's holding the bag.
I'll step over to her. I hold the bag and I bend down to her. And my feet still aren't touching the ground. I'm still on tiptoes the entire time. I'll reach my hand up to her face. You have done everything I have asked of you. Every sacrifice I have asked you have made. I can give you but one thing now. And I'll lean in and give her a kiss, and as I come back slightly, I can give you peace. And there's a flash of a blaster shot. And I stand up, and I drop the blaster. And there's tears in his eyes, but he knew this had to be done. This was the only future that made sense. I will be with you soon, darling. And he turns round and looks at the group. We're ready.
Woof. Woof. Frantic as Corazon moves up, you see your aunt lying there, dead. But it seems as though she is just directly staring at you in death.
I think I just say she should just send me sweaters on my birthday. I never thanked her for that. And then I just kind of like.
And
I think no, go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
No. I will turn to look at Frantic. She is the only reason you survived. Had I had my way, all the family would have perished. You owe her a great debt. Never forget her mercy.
Can I take the bag off you? I just take it.
You take it. I hold on to it for a second, and there's that moment as we're both holding it, and I release it.
Oof. Nasty bastard.
SWvM.
All right.
Okay.
With the bag in hand, believe we know we need to get to that crystal, to that collection at the heart of the planet and the heart of the structure. However, it is surrounded and infused with the religious sect. It's going to take an amazing burglar, a thief of both space and time.
Okay, so I think when we get back to the bunker, I just open the bag and it's like, all right, get in. No, there's room. Spiral can attest to it. There's room inside.
It's rather comfortable, actually.
All right, so you're wanting to get everyone inside of the bag. I think I'm going to, provided no one objects, I'm going to say that you're able to do that without a roll. I think that just works. I think the more interesting roll, the more interesting tension is the getting in.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I'm a burglar. So
let's roll that deft.
Oh, thank Christ, that was a 10.
All right. You name a time and place, and you're there.
Time, as soon as possible. And place, your big giant crystal Moonicorn needs to get to.
Excellent. And so we see you sort of, well, do you describe to me, is it one of these things where time and space fold, or do we see you actually creeping over towards the house? I mean, what does it look like as you get in, as you're doing this?
I think it's kind of a mixture of both. I think from the house to the pass because I think it's a bit of a ways away. And Frantic started off at a jog, a very pathetic figure, someone who's changed her hoodie. It's not a regular hoodie. It's not a space hoodie anymore. With this satchel running, and then they kind of like, as they're like, they can feel the exhaustion get up again. It's kind of like suddenly, yeah, it's like when you steal space. It's like you take away the space between yourself and another point of where they're going. So kind of like once the exhaustion kicks in, they kind of like and they kind of reach out, and suddenly they've stolen the space between them and the palace, and suddenly they're right at the outskirts, and they're like huh. Okay, all right, and with a bit more confidence or a bit more giddiness, I think then they infiltrate the palace the regular way, like a proper burglar should.
Excellent. And so as we see you with your grapple gun coming over these walls, moving your way through, I think we get some scenes of like we see the religious troops tromping through, but as Frantic moves through, it's like they slow, so they just don't quite hit that cross hole at the moment. And then they speed back up as Frantic's gone. We see the times where like a patrol will suddenly hasten by as out from the shadows. Frantic comes and pops open a door into that central collection. And there, before you, is that enormous glowing crystal. As you open your bag.
Yeah, yeah, just like lay the bag on the ground and kind of open. It's like, all right, we're here. How are y'all feeling?
I think like when I pop out of the bag, I definitely am like leaning over on all fours, like my knees and my palms on the ground, just like not like throwing up, but like definitely like I don't feel well. Like that was not what I wanted. Like you said it was going to be comfy. That was not comfy. like type of thing.
You are difficult to travel with.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You're muted, Tyler.
You're muted.
I was going to say, Gerwin, as you step out, in your vision, since you see the future, what does the collection look like in your vision?
I think the collection has been pretty much wrecked by there's been an earthquake when the planet appeared, and I think it's entirely wrecked. Things are smashed down on the floor. All these priceless artifacts from a myriad numbers of worlds are basically all junk now. So we're standing in the middle of ruins, and we're standing in the middle of destruction. So I think the actual roof to the vault itself has cracked open, and huge girders are falling down. So we can actually see the actual outside world as a result of that. And we can actually see the darkness and the planet in the sky and everything else going on there.
Now, and this is what what everyone's saying. Does your future vision show you something else?
Yes. My future vision shows me something else. Only one of Moonicorn and myself will leave this room.
All right. So, we're here in front of the Great Crystal. What do you do, Cora?
So I think I like look at the crystal like from like my kneeling position, and then like turn to Spiral, and then just like I like look at you for a moment, and then just like look through the ceiling where we can see the blackness up there. And it's just sort of that like subtle nod of like, that's where we need to go now. Like, you did it once before. Can you take us there now?
If I can get the mute to work properly. I will nod and look over at Frantic and Curzon. There is probably no coming back from a place like that.
You are correct. There is no coming back. And I will reach into my collection as I'm looking at it and examining the broken collection of decades and decades of time and memories, and you can never go back.
Well,
I'll turn to look at Frantic.
I think I kind of like if I think if that scene with Anna hadn't happened, I would have been much softer. But I kind of like just you have a lot to pay for. Is that how you feel?
I have a lot to pay for, but it is a price I have chosen. I have sacrificed a lot for the greater good of this universe. I have freed trillions of creatures. I have set in motion a future where people can truly be free. There is just one problem. And he reaches into the collection and he picks up a rifle and points at Moonicorn and pulls the trigger.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, Mooney, I'm guessing that this will be a resist.
I mean, I feel like I'm getting shot, but like I don't have.
You don't.
Really? I didn't realize that.
No, I think I'm just getting shot.
Yeah. I
You don't even have
will-
suffer harm. What's up with that?
well,
are
you have to take a stand, but
yeah. Is as we see this, first off, I want to ask, what is your intent with this space worm?
My intent is they want to feed this creature. They want to actually make it so that it can't expand. I want to use this crystal to actually sever the universe from hyperspace.
All right. Oh, and so we have this moment as the gun is fired. At this point, it seems as though Moonicorn is going to be shot. Is there something someone is doing before I turn straight to Moonicorn on this?
Oh, I kind of want to steal the gun off them. As in, just as they fire.
I can see something interesting from that. So that sounds like a steel space.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm going to interfere with this.
I figured.
Because at this point, I think my troops burst in through the doors.
All right.
Dear.
So you're rolling with a -2.
I'll
Anybody?
help.
You're helping.
I don't want Cora to get all shot.
All
Okay.
right.
So I rolled an 8, so that'll be a 6. So it's all on this help roll.
Could indeed be. So roll there to help, to aid.
It's a 7 + 1 is 8. So on a 7 to 9, I also expose myself to danger, cost, or retribution, but you get a +1.
Takes it back up to a 7. All right. Then I think what we're going to have happen, because I think this sounds good. Stealing space, 7 to 9, you take it, but it makes people suspicious or costs you. And the GM says what? I think as we see this happen, and of course there's the shock of it as very, reaching out and twisting time and space itself. You grab it, frantic, as that bullet is firing. But because of what is happening, it's going to overload it. I'm going to... as it explodes out, you and Spiral are caught in the blast of it and flung back so that you're both standing there, injured, perhaps dying, but injured at the moment, collapse down. As I turn to you, Mooney, who have just seen this occur, and you realize that they have just saved your life.
Tyler, while they're doing that, do you want me to suffer harm?
Yes. What you doing there? Well, yeah, Patrick, what'd you roll?
It's an 8. So...
Injured slightly and suffer a setback. I think I'm going to play this one then, that you are knocked out. So our means perhaps of getting to this thing are at the moment unconscious. All right. So, Cora.
Yeah, I think I yell like, no. And I think the gun is shattered. I think this is wishing that Spiral was still here, like it was conscious, like, and could take us there. And I think it's me going to them and trying to like wake you up is the, like, I look at, or like as I'm going over there, it's like I'm not even looking at Curzon. It's like just caring about Spiral. And it's the like, no, like I need, like, we need you, like everyone needs you. We need to get there in order to do this thing. And then it's like, I need you. I need you to be here. You can't be gone. Please wake up.
All this had happened before. All this will happen again, unless we break the wheel.
It's always destruction with you, Curzon.
It is not destruction. This is the future you wanted. This is the future where everyone gets to be how they are. If hyperspace continues to exist, other cultures will dominate others. There will be constant war. Religions will war on each other over belief. Belief in fake gods. This is the only way to fulfill your future.
I don't believe that. I believe that there is faith, that there's good things in everyone, and that everyone can be different and vibrant, and we can live together.
There is good things in everyone, but there is also evil within the heart of all creatures. All creatures see themselves, and they do not see the other.
Maybe. It's a constant struggle that we have to strive against and constantly fight. Maybe it is a cycle that will happen again. But without that struggle, what is the joy and the triumph that you feel without feeling that change and that diversity there? Without it, it means so much less.
I think I'm going to have you roll Take a Stand here. This is that moment.
Did it not re-roll? There we go. Cool. I got an 11.
All right. You lower your integrity by 1.
Yep.
And choose an option from the list. Oh, that you didn't even have to roll. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I still got it. I'm
You
going to
did.
strike my my bond with Curzon instead of lowering my integrity by 1.
Excellent. And if I may make a suggestion, kind of off of what you were had already stated you wanted, I think inspiring someone watching you would be Spiral.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds perfect.
All right. And so Spiral, the word, even in your unconsciousness, the speaker and the words reach you. What do? You come to, there is Frantic lying there. You can see burnt from the explosion. Moonicorn right above you, and Corzon probably with that a bit of a fanatic look in your face. Would that be fair to say?
Oh yes, very, very much.
And where are we at this point?
You are in the collection. The crack is open. You can see out beyond it. That sort of thing.
I think. Yeah. I think he just twitches a bit and sort of dissolves from his normal shape, spreads out in a pool of like spreading blackness and tendrils. And they're gonna reach out in a web and wrap around Cora and Frantic and the crystal. I'm gonna try and get out of here.
There you go. All right. Sounds like Secret Ways.
Secret Ways.
Rolling with Curious.
All right. Let's do. It's 7, 8, 9. That's sort of perfect.
All right. If you like the 9, no one playing with.
7 to 9. It gets you exactly.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say for truly climacticness, on a 7 to 9, it gets you exactly where or when you want, but not both. And I think it gets us exactly where, but not before Curzon gets there as well.
Okay. Do we like that, Curzon? Are you up for that?
I'm very much up for that.
So I'm just interested to hear how like otherworld infected Curzon finds his way up there.
And where is right there at the...
Yeah, it's like in space in the middle of this warped tentacle blackness thing.
All right.
With the giant crystal.
Curzon, if you don't mind, perhaps I have an idea, or do you have an idea?
I kind of have an idea.
Go with.
Because I think being opened up to hyperspace, and the reason that I've done the full heel turn is because the creature has one of its tendrils in me.
Love it. Love it. Because that even plays a little with my idea of the tendril getting you from the collection and pulling up. So maybe perhaps instead we see that tendril sort of manifest as you're riding it up. And so as you appear there at the entrance, this massive thing, and there's despite it being space, the sound of the slithering of the tendrils of death and destruction around you. And as the three of you appear, you see Curzon just floating to be there right with you. All right, we're hitting our moment. So I think I'm going to go to you, Moonicorn. The idea, I think we'd heard something about all people together having to do, everyone. So I'm going to have you make your speech. Then I'm going to go to SWvM to hear what SWvM's going to do from the speech. Then I'm going to have our other two chime in, and we'll hit our climactic what's going to happen. All right? Sound good? So take it away, Moonicorn.
Yeah, so like I think it's me resting a hand on the crystal as like, and you can see like again hair glowing, fanning out all anime style, and it's me like speaking, but like in that weird echo, like that you could hear it across the universe, type thing, and it says, "Everybody, I need your help, your strength. We're here against the destruction that comes to consume us all. But it's a constant struggle. We all have to fight it together. We have to believe in each other, in the goodness that exists everywhere in each of us. Think of me. Think of yourself. Think of your friend, your father, your mother, your siblings, everyone, and what goodness is in them and what is in everyone. For that together is what we need now."
Excellent. And I think I'm going to say that you followed through with something important you said you were going to do, because you had told Spiral that now you would stand up and you would take responsibility, and you have definitely done that. SWvM, you hear Moonicorn's words. You feel the presence of destruction within you. What do? You are muted, my love.
And that's how I won the game. Oh, sorry. Did I need to go back over that again? I step out. I have a blaster pistol in my hand. I also have a detonator in my other. I point the blaster pistol at Moonicorn.
I think like as you point it, I want to say something like,
Oh, by all means, yeah. Go ahead.
so I'm like, cousin, I know the desire for good is in you. And like you can see me like maybe looking at this tendril that is coming out of you, and it's like, it's there. I felt it before, and I can still feel it now. You want to do what is best for everyone. You have this unwavering spirit that strives to do the absolute best. And I just need a little bit more from you here, now, to do what I know you want, to save the universe for everyone. Join me.
Do we want... I'm going to come into you and asking you this, Gerwin. Do we want Moonicorn to roll a try and convince to see if that assists you in whatever you're doing or influences you, or would you rather have it come straight across?
I would like to actually do a little bit more back and forth before
That's
we
perfectly
actually
fine.
do the roll. That's okay. So Curzon speaks with the voice, but it is not his own voice. This detonator. There is a bomb at the heart of Orant. I need but push this button, and your voice will be silenced. And I'll hold the button out, and you see he goes to push it, and you can see that he's having visible difficulty doing it. And can you roll the dice now, please?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I got boxcars.
Woohoo! All right. So, with a convince, they do what you want and will expect a reward later. Oh, I'm sorry. That was... I'm looking at SWvM there. They do what you want if you back them up and help them do it. So, I want you to think...
That works perfectly for me.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm struggling, and the gun is there, and you can see that he's fighting himself. And he'll throw the gun at your feet. Cousin, There is only one way this ends, and he speaks with his own voice. Only one of us leaves this place. Stop me. Stop me before it...
All right, so I'm going to hold in that second as I'm going to come to you, Spiral. This thing is all around you. You are one with me. You are the harbinger of my coming. Aid me, and all will be blackness. You and I will be everything. What do you do?
I think as we've appeared up here, Spiral is still very like loose and diffused. And on that everything, I think it sort of echoes out, and Spiral feels like these tendrils of himself everywhere. And here at the heart of this like rift, and with Moonicorn echoing through the crystals, for a moment it's literally everywhere. And so as these tendrils touch everybody here, Space Worm, Moonicorn, Frantic, the horrifying monstrous space god of destruction, and literally everyone in the galaxy, I would like to ask a question of everyone.
All right.
As the oceans tell me their secrets. And so come flooding through the minds of all present is the answer to, what do you hope for the future? From everyone across the galaxy.
Oh, and I think flooding in, I mean, we know the answer from like Space Worm, from Moonicorn. You've asked this question before. You know what Frantic wishes. You've asked this question before. But from across the galaxy, in their deepest hearts, people want to be loved and to love in return. People want to be together. There's this overwhelming, I will not be alone.
And I think with that, you see Moonicorn like lean down and pick up the gun and like hold it and like sort of pointing it at Curzon as like I'm walking and stepping forward towards Curzon as Curzon's struggling, not pressing the button. And then like when I get close, I just like toss it to the side off the dais. And I'm like, cousin, I can't kill you. That may be your way, but it's not mine. And I think it's the sort of like reaching a hand out to your hand on the trigger and leaning down and like kissing you on the forehead. And it's like, I'm with you.
And my other hand comes out. It rests on your hand on the trigger. I lift your hand up and place it over my heart. I've always loved you.
And you.
And I squeeze, and it grasps it. Your hand grasps the crystal there through mine, and I pull the crystal that's animating me out with your hand.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think the void takes me. The darkness disappears from his eyes, and the body slumps to the floor, dead.
Yeah. And like you see tears like coming down from Moonicorn's face as it like just me like whispering like, I've always loved you, cousin.
We see the detonator fall from Curzon's hands. We see as this crystal is drawn out and Curzon collapses. It glows in Moonicorn's hand. Behind the planet glows, and that chorus rises. The crystal beside you glows, and from across the galaxy, every being cries, "We will be free. We will not go into the night." And the tendrils collapse and scream as they're drawn back in. And the platform you're on is brought back towards the void. And inside, as you all are pulled in, this screaming of the thing as it's collapsing. And I'm turning to you, Frantic. What do you do?
Well, I'm. Oh my god, I think I've. Oh my god, I've kind of while all that's happening. I heard the question. I've been kind of struggling to get up on my feet because I'm still in. Yeah. So on this platform, that's about to be dragged into the void with all my friends, and I see, yeah, kind of the darkness closing in as we're getting sucked in. But I did pick up a trick I just learned recently to steal the space between us and back to back to our world. So I think I kind of when I kind of stand up, I kind of use Spiral to get up on my feet, and I'm kind of like, yeah, look, I'm not really looking forward to seeing where your home is at the moment. Sorry about that. And kind of struggle to the crystal. And I kind of like, because those crystals gave me those powers. So I am just going to try and reach into that and grasp forward and take all that space between us and freedom.
All right. This probably is the final roll of the game, Frantic. Roll
Oh, no.
steal space.
Oh no. Hold on. What's that plus with?
Well, Spiral, are you helping?
Yeah, because I rolled a 6.
Oh,
So-
No, she's fine on her. Yes, I'll help. Yeah. Do I have one bond with Frantic? But that's a 13.
so we've gone up to a 7.
I mean, I'll help and bump it from a 7 to 9 to a 10 plus. So like as you're doing this, like it's just me of like, Frantic, you can do this. I believe in you. You may not believe in yourself, but I believe in you.
And so with Moonicorn and Spiral standing with you, we see the crystal glow and space fold as behind you closes. But I think we see as it closes, the body of Corazon is still there. As Wolf, you appear back on Orient. And I think we're going to end with the epilogues. And I'm going to go in a different order than we normally do, because our space worm is no longer the most powerful creature in the galaxy at the moment. They will go last. We will go first with, I think I'm going to go first with you, Frantic. What is our epilogue? What do we see of Frantic? And you can frame it any way you want, anywhere down the road.
I think because I kind of I think this is immediately in the aftermath. I don't have anything big, but it's just I think after that I've kind of lying on the ground and kind of telling people I want to sleep for 1,000 years, but in the immediate aftermath of that, I think it's kind kind of back in the bunker, and I'm closing it with an air finality, and then turn around, and I think I've asked Spiral to be there. Just for I just want to ask them something. And I'm kind of like, you know what, you're right. Home isn't just a place you go back to, it's a place you can bring with you. Funny thing is, I think I kind of found my home with you. That sounds really dumb, but do you mind if we keep running together? Just for a bit, you know. It doesn't have, well, you can break off everyone. You know, you're busy, I guess. But yeah,
I think I can tie Spiral's epilogue into that,
Okay.
as like he's turned away from you and you're asking that, and it's like the camera is sort of panning up his body towards his face, and there's like a hard cut, and we see that same light that everything sort of exploded into at the very end. We see it like dimming down and fading back as the group of us and the sort of platform we were on reappears back on the planet. And you know, it's Curzon's dead body, and it's
I think Curzon is.
oh, he's up there. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. It's Curzon's blood. And that crystal that was animating him lying on the floor, and Frantic is being frantic, sort of rushing around, wiping her eyes, making sure things are good. Cora is there, I think, still glowing and taken up by the light of the crystal, and so they don't really notice as that shard of Spiral's heart that animated Curzon and is covered in his blood just like floats up from the ground, flies back towards Spiral, and goes in through his chest to join with the other piece. And as I think as we come back into the frantic epilogue there, you hear Spiral's voice, and he says, "Yes, I have places I still want to see. Such dreams of the future." And as he turns around, one of his eyes, the only thing on him of any color, is like a swirling milky white.
Oh, love it. Cora, what do we see as our last image of Cora?
So I think you see Cora in fancy getup that is not like what they normally were wearing through most of the thing, and definitely wearing a fancy hat because I think they are at this site, and it's sort of become like a pilgrimage place where people come and do it, like see things and see what's going on. And so it's like combination pilgrimage and museum of like remembering what was here and like telling the stories. But like I think the important part is what we see Cora doing is it's not just Cora telling the story of like what happened, but like talking to people and listening to their stories of their pilgrimage here and their life and things like that, and people sharing them between each other, like whether that's like just on the street over like tea or noodles or whatever it is. It's like everybody is here just sharing each other's stories with everybody, and you see lots of like diversity and things, and Cora's just another one of those people that's out there listening and hearing everybody else's stories.
Oh, I love it. That is beautiful. And Space Worm. What do we see? And this can be you personally or the influence of Space Worm in the future.
I have two parts.
Okay.
The first of all is Curzon opens his eyes, and his eyes are back full coloured. He looks up, and there's Anna. He looks up, and there's his mother. And they reach down their hands and both lift him up, and they walk off into the space between. But then it cuts, and it shows 1,000 years later. And the Republic has grown and you see a view of a planet. It zooms in, and there's this huge structure there, a temple. And as it comes in, you can hear prayers spoke of to the founder of the Republic, he who died and was reborn, who sacrificed for his people. And the Republic that he sought to actually found has become a theocracy, with the church based around his worship. That this humanist has totally failed at everything that he sought to achieve. But he has brought peace to a certain value of peace.
Magnificent. And as our camera pulls back and the credits roll, we have the credits rolling over the big temple planet. And as the credits finish, we see in a star, the camera travels across. We see a star. Then we see into a sun. Out from the sun, a black gem erupts. And that sun collapses behind it. And that's our Space Worm versus Moonicorn.
That was so much fun.
So awesome.
That was amazing.
Oh my god.
Oh, I had so much fun with that. Oh, that was wonderful. We're at 4:57. If folks are able to do maybe 10, 15 minutes of a Roses and Thorns, if not, I completely understand. All right. Then let's do a Roses and Thorns. Thorns are basically things about the system, about how I ran it, things that you could even thorn yourself, something you didn't quite go the way you liked it or thought could be different or better. I could take a hit. Feel free to throw them at me. I've let Rich Rogers thorn me. I could take the worst. So, but we don't thorn our fellow players. That's just we don't do that. So, starting with you, Garwin, any thorns you have for the sessions that we went through?
Yeah, there's not enough sessions. There really isn't enough sessions. I was so into this game. One thing I would say, I love the concept of the Space Worm. I'm really glad I chose to play the role. Space Worm seems to be all about actually going out and achieving things in the world. And certainly during the last session, that seemed to actually take me away from the rest of the group as I was trying to actually get that front and actually seize that front. That I think that's partially on me because I didn't include people with that. But the opportunity came up, and it seems like certainly my reading of it is Space Worm's all about is being the antagonist, being the aggressor, being the one to initiate so much rather than the one that reacts to things. Certainly the command move seems to imply that. And I'd like to have had more time to actually role play with each of the characters. But again, I think that's partially down to me trying to actually seize that front and take the opportunity to do so.
Well, I hear you. And when I get to my Thorn, I may mention something along those lines about that as well. But I hear you, and thank you very much. Leandro, any thorns?
Well, I'll echo not having enough sessions, mainly because I love this game and I want to keep playing it. And also because I missed the session. That's on me. Other than that, yeah, it's I don't know, something about this for the game itself, not for how you ran it, Tyler. It's when some people just don't have certain moves that confuse me a bit, because I know this is kind of quick play, and Space Worm and versus Moonicorn is different. And it doesn't have basic moves and whatnot, but yeah, it felt like there was just some weird stuff, like I didn't have suffer harm, or which kind of like, all right, so does that mean am I out for this entire scene until the climactic moment, which worked well enough in that scene. But yeah, there's in a sense, like I kind of think, even though with this quick play, I kind of want to see how a regular Space Worm works, I guess. But I get you why in 4 sessions you'd want to do the quick play, but I don't know if you've ever done it with the normal system, but with just 4 sessions. Well, I don't know even if there's like basic moves on that, but I don't know. I think there's not that this wasn't weird. It was a weird fit. It fit fine, but I think there are just sometimes when the system didn't have what we were looking for. And also thorn for myself again for not interacting with other people. Well, specifically with Curzon, I wish we had interacted more, but I failed that role. So so that's the dice. There is a good chance there, but the dice failed me. I kind of failed myself as well. But that's fine. Other than that, this is the second time ever played in a game run by Tyler, and the second time I've come away an emotional wreck. So I know what to expect now from the future if I ever end up in a Tyler Lomnac ran game. Like, ugh.
I do like pulling the heartstrings. Thank you. And I hear what you're saying there. Patrick, any thorns?
So I have a brief sort of mini thorn, and then I think I'll expand some on Leandro's thorn there. In that the other playbook, while super cool and really interesting, I think I was finding, especially in this one, like a lot of its moves and how it's set up seems to be driven off of you react to other people. You take other people's orders, you do things to fulfill other people's wishes, you ask other people questions. And that's super cool, but there were just a couple of times throughout the run where I was just missing like that one move that would have encouraged me to be more proactive. Obviously, you can always throw that stuff into a character, but going by the moves as like the flags of what the playbook wants to do, I was constantly looking at it and going like, oh, this playbook wants to wait and be told what to do, sort of thing. Anyways, that was something that I struggled a little bit with how to play, but otherwise the other is so cool that it sort of outbalanced that. But I will pick up on that, like, that sort of silly, I wish this game were longer, Thorn, which is like, I wish every game was longer. But I would love to play a longer arc of Space Worm versus Moonicorn, but my sort of thorn there is that the base system is built off of Dungeon World. It's basically just Dungeon World in space, and Dungeon World is not my favorite game. I don't feel brings nearly as much like flavor and color and interestingness as manages to come through in these quick start playbooks, which I think is why Tyler and I keep going back to doing the quick start over and over again, because there's just so much uniqueness and creativity in it, where I feel like when you expand it out into Dungeon World, yes, that would allow it to have a longer run and bigger legs, but for me personally, like, I just don't love what Dungeon World brings to the table. So I wish it were built off of a different system.
I hear you, and I may come to something of that in my thorns as well. Yoshi, any thorns?
I mean, I loved a lot of it. I think the only immediate small thorn I had about like the Moonicorn playbook is that the special move Alien Moon feels a little bit redundant. Like, it says when you spend a point of integrity to make someone or everyone notice you and pay attention to you, even if you do nothing else, really kind of overlaps with the take a stand, where you spend a point of integrity and draw immediate attention of everyone around you. And so I took it not having really read all of the playbook moves, but like as I went through it, I'm like, sure, I can do this, and maybe this gives me a little bit more fictional justification to hit everybody because I spent a special move slot on it. But like at the same time, it feels a little redundant to have it.
I hear you, and so for my thorns, I'm going to say, first off, I kind of agree with you, Yoshi, on that. I like a lot of Moonicorn special moves, but you're right. That one, and I'd never seen it played before, and or I might have said maybe we should look at that. But it does seem a trifle redundant. To kind of talk about a little of what everyone's saying, the quick play is definitely wanting the it's saying what these characters are like. You're playing this type of character. Its moves are laid out to be that type of character, which is a little linear. I mean, you know, it's a little railroady to start off knowing exactly what that character's going to be like. You develop it, you can do lots of things with it, but you would be fighting the playbook if you were Moonicorn who wanted to be on the front lines fighting. I mean, you just simply are. To Patrick's statement of it's built on Dungeon World, think of how this game would have been played if we were playing with the Dungeon World basic moves. And I wonder a little if that's as enjoyable a game as this kind of is, because then you're looking at a Space Worm or a Moonicorn that sure can be out there hacking and slashing. That's a really odd look at what kind of the game wants Moonicorn to be and what in a lot of ways inspires Moonicorn. And that's just as an example. So, you know, John Stone made a massive book for this. And I would never say anything, you know, bad about him going off of Dungeon World. He came off of it because I think it was a Kickstarter having to do with Dungeon World. But I think he made a better system with the Quick Start than Dungeon World is to be played. I think that, you know, that game he made expanded a bit would be way more interesting than trying to load this on top of Dungeon World. So, heck, John Stone, why don't you just write me another 200 pages real quick? Just toss those off and make me another system. No, I think that, yeah, so for my Thorn is its base system really changes up what I think the flavor of the game would be. I think the Quick Start gives that a little better, but it is a Quick Start, so it is limiting. Other than that, I fight hard to find much in the way of Thorns. I love the world setup. I just think it's really cool. So, you know, I don't mind that we take a bit of time at the beginning, which would be a Thorn in a lot of cases. It's a long world build. But I like that we interspersed a lot of character stuff in the middle of it while we were doing it, so that kind of made it role play as well. So that's sort of bleeding over towards roses. So why don't we go ahead and just start with some roses? Gerwin, any roses you'd like to hand out?
Oh, everyone. I know that's very vague and the like, but Patrick, I won't say it's a thorn that I didn't get to interact with you more often, but I consider it a rose that I wanted to interact with your character more often. We were very rushed this last session, so I didn't get a chance to do so, and we had to bring the story to a close. But my God, the way you played the character, just I can only applaud. Leandro. Again, your character wasn't the big one out on the front lines, but you had played such a pivotal part in the actual game itself. Even just with your relationships with everyone else, and it's the way I think, if anything, actually brought the group together. Well, brought the other two characters together. Was actually that relationship with you and the actual way that you actually linked everyone together. And that's only to be commended. It really is. And Yoshi, cousin. I loved the relationship our characters had. The fact that we were both fighting for the same thing, but we were coming at it from different angles and different sides. And my God. And Tyler. One of the key aims I had coming into the session was to have an epic death where I betrayed people and got to have that last moment with Moonicorn, where basically Moonicorn had the opportunity to talk me into doing the right thing. I'd planned that from the start of the actual game. I wanted to get more and more and more evil as we went along. And thank you for allowing me. Thank you for enabling me to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Leandra, any roses?
Oh, I have a veritable bouquet of roses to give out. Like, oh my god, like, just like everyone again, just not just playing characters real, but playing them like in very unexpected ways. Like Gerwin, Curzon's arc was just amazing. Like like before we started, I don't know. I had a weird conception of the space for him as just an evil, tyrannical douche canoe, and I assume he can be played like that. But no, what you did was just like so much better. Like it's just so many, just like heartbreaking layers as well. Like oh my god, it was just yeah, just like you never like compromised in making an antagonist that can just be safely hated. I think. You create a character that everyone had to consider what the relationship to this person is like, and that's amazing. And Yoshi Moonicorn is just like, yeah, I would follow that one to the death. Like back in the second session, I'd come in there thinking, okay, I'm gonna cross because I was just gonna cross tracks with Moonicorn, and all right, I'll listen to that. But again, Yoshi, you played with so much compassion and just conviction. That was like, because at the start I set it up like, oh no, I lean towards Curzon, but no, Moonicorn just makes sense. You know, Cora just said a lot, and I couldn't say no to that, and that was amazing. And Patrick, have we decided which one is Buzz Lightyear and which one was Woody? I'm not sure, but yeah, that was. I don't know. Again, just like everyone else, you play Spyro was just like it's definitely an other, but like it's played differently. Like there was a lot, like you managed to just have like a very serious edge and a very comedic edge. Sometimes both of them happening in the same scene, which is amazing. The way you juggle that is just masterful, and I love that. Yeah, you just commit to the weirdness of it and making sure everyone is, specifically me, I guess, is just freaked out by what you're doing and saying. And yeah, it's just, oh my god, that was that weird comedy movie duo we made is amazing. And again, hats off to Tyler. Oh, I should just take off my hat. There we go. Hats off to Tyler. Oh dear, get a bit of my hat hair there. Because again, all this couldn't work without someone lacing it all together, making sure everyone has things to do, or making sure everyone's pushed along. Like specific moment is like, I don't know. I always love it when you're like someone tosses you an idea and you're like, okay, right, we'll run with it. Like back in the second session, you asked who else would be in this planet with Moonicorn, and I was just like, yeah, I might be there. There's a letter addressed to me for some reason, and it just turned into this whole, oh, you now have a place in space and time. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, again, Tyler, webbing this all together. It just I mean, for all misgivings with the system itself, I think whatever we created was amazing, and I'm glad to have experienced and played that with all of y'all.
Thank you. That's awesome. Patrick, roses?
Yeah, it was all right, I guess. It was amazing. I've similarly, I could just start at like moment 1 of session 1 and go through all the things that I could remember that I liked, and still be forgetting like twice as many things that I loved as well. So I will try to keep it brief, but Garwin, for you, like there's just so much cool stuff for me to play off of, but I want to give you the biggest rose ever for Surprise Giant Space God. That was just such a great way to end last session, and as soon as you did it, my heart fluttered. I was like, oh, giant sun-killing space god. It was amazing. It was a great climactic thing to come up against. Leandro, Frantic Darling, I also love the sort of buddy comedy duo vibe that we had. I loved getting to be able to play like Doctor Who tropes off on you. I was desperately looking for a way to make you a TARDIS, so I got like halfway there in this session, and that was all amazing. And Yoshi, I loved Moonicorn, but especially like having Moonicorn as this, you know, that alien moon move, as that distant perfect light that Spiral was chasing after for like 2.5 sessions, and then to meet with you last session and get into a conversation where I was like, I love you, I've been searching the universe for you. Oh wait, you're running away, you're not doing the right things. Okay, I need to fix you and make you better, and then I'll love you because you're perfect. And Tyler, you talked about, you know, like over and over again, like this is just the quick play, this is just a slice of life. We don't have to get to a like concluding it all finish of everything, but by damn did we fucking make it there. And the pacing was just on point, especially this session. And then just as like a general thing, that whole last scene, from the ruined vault up to the portal in space with the thing, the way that everybody just from person to person picked up the fiction that like the last couple of people have been playing with, twisted some incredible new thing into it and carried it forward. It was just like the most amazing series of collaborative climaxes, just one after another, you know, heightening and heightening. And it was really, really good and cool to be a part of. Okay, I'll stop now. It was amazing. It was all amazing. I can keep going because it was real amazing.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yoshi, any roses?
Of course. So like general rose for like the group, I really, and probably for the game too, is I really liked the epicness and like the space opera-ness that like it was here. Like, it definitely has that vibe, like Space Worm versus Moonicorn. Like you get that space opera epicness, like just in the title of it. But like, I think we did a really good job of like bringing that through. And I really enjoyed that. Gerwin, I love the fact that you made a character that was so lovable and love to hate at the same time. Like I thought that was really useful to like have in the narrative arcs, and I'm really glad that you did that, and so that was awesome. Leandro, I really enjoyed Frantic in their almost like down to earth, like small focus, and I think that really helped provide a lot of contrast, because a lot of like what me and Gerwin were doing was sort of like epic grand scale thing, and having that character that was sort of like there in the moment, just literally just about the moment to moment, was really nice to have that contrast. And Patrick, I really enjoyed all of the questions that you brought with the other. I thought that you the questions you chose were interesting in how you and when you chose to ask them, and I think it really helped shed light on a lot of different characters. And so like I thought that was fantastically well done. Yeah, Tyler, I think you did an excellent job both with pacing as well as like timing, like realizing, hey, I need to hard frame these things right now. Like we have these things that we want to get through, and so I thought you did a very good job with that. And I also thought, like, just in general, you did a really good job of framing like scenes and spotlighting of like, hey, we've been with Moonicorn and Space Worm. Let's see how Frantic and Spiral are looking at. And so I thought you did a really good job of sharing that spotlight and framing scenes in a way that made everybody feel included, and also kept the pacing going and just tied it all together very well.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to say, first off, roses across the group, because again, the way we told this story together was wonderful. There's a lot of open to this. We build a world, I have no idea what it's going to be like. A galaxy, I have no idea what it's going to be like. And so I have to put so much lifting on the players. And every time y'all came up with great ideas and great ways these relationships were going to work. And we have all of these things that come out, you know, Patrick bringing up so much of what's in hyperspace, and then Gerwin grabbing hold of that, and we have a space god. and we have the crystals and Yoshi lifting those up and bringing them more in. We have these relationships, and then we have Leandro making sure these relationships have context. So there's all of this really, really good cooperative work, and that was so much fun. Garwin, this is kind of going back to a thorn you had, and I'm going to give a rose to it. Space Worm has, in my experience, a problem with being a loner. So many space worms get stuck being by themselves. And it's I've struggled with making sure that Space Worm is involved in what's going on. You made sure to always be involved. There was so much that you went to make sure every time, someone was with you. And that helped me so much to make sure that it seemed like a one big group story. Because Space Worm can get stuck to where they're sitting in their place of power, just sending out orders, doing things like that. And you made sure it was constant and personal, and Space Worm was a real character, a real person interacting. So, huge rose to you for that. Leandro, I adored Frantic Darling. There was so much, the way you played her, that rapid patter, the little start a sentence hiccup to oh, what? Sort of moments were brilliant. Your interactions with Spiral were so cool in the way that, again, you brought what it meant to have a relationship with every character you dealt with. And that is so hard to do, and I applaud you so much for it. Patrick loved Spiral, the weirdness of Spiral, the ideas of Spiral, how we came into this last one. I reached out with that Dark God, having followed you. You were right there to pick up that concept. Last session, your conversation with Moonicorn, how that worked out was beautiful. I thought that was such a good scene. There was something endearing and warm about the cold and strangeness of Spiral. And that's a hard one to walk. And again, I'll applaud also what Leandro said of bringing comedy and seriousness into that character. That's a thin line to walk along, and it was very well done. And Yoshi, I loved the arc of Moonicorn. You played such a neat idea, that kind of Moonicorn running to Moonicorn standing up to Moonicorn leading. And that was beautiful to watch. You committed so well to this character. It was a delight to see. And along with that, I loved kind of like the answers you would give to things. There was always so much that made me inspired to go, okay, wow, that's something to work with. When you would answer something or when you'd set up a scene, it was always beautiful for me to have things to work with. I'm going to say a big old rose to the game. I do love this game. I just think it is so much fun. I think it is beautifully written. Some of that stuff in those fronts are fantastic, just fantastic. Johnstone does a hell of a good job with it. And it's a game that I know I'll come back to over and over again, just because it brings me so much joy. So, I guess that's our game of Space Worm versus Moonicorn. I want to thank all of you for playing. It was a blast, absolute blast. And folks at home, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, well, watch more.